Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Brunchstream. Good to have you here, as always. How's everybody doing today? Dave's watching live today from Frankfurt. I don't even know what time it is over there, but it's not brunch, I can tell you that much. So, hey, Martin. Hey, Michael. Hey, Kathy. Good to have you all here. Today's show, kind of fun as I've been exploring this really early country music, really early in terms of recorded stuff anyway. And so, hey, there's Tony, there's Barry. Sarah Bumgarner was a West Virginia banjo player, I believe in that sort of, western and southern corner of West Virginia that kind of borders on a bunch of other states, hotbed for kind of traditional string band music that is based on the English, Scots, Irish stuff. And she, along with her partner, sometime partner Eva Davis, recorded not only some of the first country songs, the first commercial country recording made by a woman was Sarah Bumgarner, and the two of them recorded a bunch of stuff in kind of from 1924 on. So this is 3 years before what's kind of referred to as the Big Bang of country music, the Bristol sessions, where in the same sessions Ralph Peer recorded both the Carter Family and Jimmy Rogers, and people like to point to that as the dawn of commercial country music, but those are two huge artists, of course, but it did occur some years before then. And so she played banjo and fiddle. It was pretty common for women to play banjo at this point, apparently. One of the articles I read on her pointed out the fact that Earl Scruggs learned banjo from his mother, and Ralph Stanley, there was a female banjo player that he was influenced by. Pete Seeger picked up the banjo because he saw Sarah Bumgarner at some sort of folk concert and was just blown away by her. So his whole playing of banjo can be traced back to this woman. And Pete certainly contributed a lot to music over the years, over his long and kind of awesome career. Great human being as well. She played what's called clawhammer banjo, and I took a few stabs at trying to mimic that style on guitar, and there are methods of doing that, but it all involves alternate tunings and would require a lot of rehearsal on my part. So I didn't. 1 week wasn't going to turn me into a clawhammer guitarist. So there's all these really sort of modal sounding elements to the actual 78s that these were released on, and it's not. I basically have turned these into 3-chord guitar folk songs, so they don't really resemble a lot their original format. But they're pretty interesting to listen to. I also had a hard time. Some of these, preservations of these old 78s, while the only ones they could find were pretty noisy and the recordings weren't that great to begin with. So, I did my best to piece together the lyrics, and sometimes, since these are all songs that were done by other artists as well, sometimes if I couldn't make out what Sarah or Eva were saying, then I would just kind of piece in a verse from another version of it. Anyway, whoa, Tim Kaysen's here. Hey, how you doing, Tim? So this is called The Worried Blues, and again, this came out in 1924, and this bears a strong resemblance to going down the road feeling bad, if you know that kind of well-worn folk tune. Even includes a verse that's going down this long, lonesome road that's kind of similar. One of the interesting things that I found was her timing on this, and I may screw this up because it's really rushed in comparison to what a traditional blues would be. Anyway, I'll shut up and play a song. Got the worried blues, got the worried blues, got the worried blues, and I can't be worried this way. See you when your troubles are like mine, see you when your troubles are like mine, see you when your troubles are like mine, see you when you can't change a dime. Bound down in my jail, bound down in my jail, bound down in my jail. No one to go my bail. Honey babe, won't you go my bail? Honey babe, won't you go my bail? Honey babe, won't you go my bail? And I can't be worried this way. This way, honey babe, don't leave me here. Honey babe, don't leave me here. Honey babe, don't leave me here unless you leave a dime for beer. Got them worried blues, got them worried blues, got them worried blues, and I can't be worried this way. As predicted, I did mess up that timing. You may have noticed at the end I just reverted back into the way you would naturally sing a three-chord blues song like this, with a greater pauses before you go into the second and third lines. But you get the idea, and so yeah, pretty cool stuff. Hey, there's Eric from Cambridge. Good to have you aboard. Sunday's Bloody Mary Day around these parts. And as I always mentioned, the civilized way to serve a Bloody Mary is with a chaser, of course. Today's chaser, I don't have any Wisconsin viewers for whatever reason, other than sometimes my family tuning in. But today's beer is, there's a good Milwaukee craft brewer called Good City, and this is their Motto Pale Ale, which isn't normally what I choose as a chaser, but it's what was in the fridge, so that's what the chaser is today. All right. So this one, it took some real sleuthing to try and get a set of lyrics, and this is called Cindy in the Meadow, and there is a classic English Scots-Irish folk tune called Cindy Cindy that bears a lot of resemblance to this, and I don't know. I mean, I liked the simplicity of it, but I also liked. I've kind of made this into a little weird arrangement, trying to just playing a weird chord, trying to make it sound a bit like what was going on with the fiddle and banjo on this. Anyway, and it's got this first verse I really love, which which is, I asked her if she loved me. She said she loved me some. I throwed both arms around her like a grapevine round a stump. I asked her if she loved me. She said she loved me some. Throwed both arms around her like a grapevine round a stump. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. Cindy in the summertime, Cindy in the fall. If I don't get Cindy, I'll not marry at all. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. When I went to see her, she's standing in the door, shoes and stockings in her hand and feet all over the floor. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. Great big sweet potato while running in the sand. She swore I was the biggest fool that lived in Dixonland. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. I wish I had a needle as fine as I could sew. I'd sew her in my pocket and down the road I'd go. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. When I went to see her, she wrung her hands and cried. When I went to leave her, she passed away and died. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. Get along home, Cindy. I'll marry you someday. Another verse in there that I love that I stole from a different version of the song. Wish I had a needle as fine as I could sew. I'd sew her in my pocket and down the road I'd go. Good stuff. Good classic stuff. Yes, okay, Barry, what about them Packers? We're one game away from the Super Bowl. One win away from the Super Bowl. Woo-hoo! I'll be watching with interest the other games today. When you watch a game like Tampa Bay, New Orleans, you have to find a reason to root for one team or the other. And, sometimes I'll do it by deciding which city I like the best. Tampa St. Pete's all right. But New Orleans is certainly the city I prefer out of those two. It'd be nice to see Tom Brady not win for a change, so I'm gonna be rooting for the Saints. Who dat? All right, back to Samantha Bumgarner and Eva Davies. Is that it? Davis? Now I'm forgetting their names. This is probably meant to be a song, sort of a nursery rhymey children's song. It's called Big Eyed Rabbit. I think this might have been the actual 78 that was the first country single by a woman ever released. I can't remember which one of these was the actual first. It also should be noted that these were the first recordings ever, commercial recordings of the banjo, which is pretty astounding, I think, to think about. So this is called Big Eyed Rabbit. Rabbit, oh rabbit, unhear them hounds. Yes, Lord, they're getting me round. Get there, rabbit, get there now. Yes, oh Lord, I'm getting there now. Rabbit, oh rabbit, your ears are mighty red. Yes, Lord, Lord, been jerking up my head. Get there, rabbit, oh, get there now. Oh Lord, Lord, I'm getting there now. Jump out and start to run, shoot you down with my old shotgun. Big-eyed rabbit, get there now. Yes, oh Lord, I'm getting there now. Rabbit, oh rabbit, your foot's mighty round. Yes, Lord, Lord, make a hole in the ground. Big-eyed rabbit, I'm getting there now. Yes, oh Lord, I'm getting there now. Rabbits in the garden are sifting sand. For tomorrow morning I'll have him in my hand. Big-eyed rabbit, you get there now. Yes, oh Lord, I'm getting there now. Rascal, rascal, hearing my dog. Yes, oh Lord, I want a log. Big-eyed rabbit, get there now. Yes, oh Lord, I'm getting there now. Big-eyed rabbit. Did my best to come up with that one, to come up with a droney sort of thing, because it's a fiddle tune, and oftentimes in those tunes the changes from one chord to another are just sort of implied to the listener, unlike a guitar where you're very firmly changing from one chord to another. They just slightly change the two-note chord they're playing to give the idea of moving on to another one. All right. Anyway, moving right along, the last song I'll do that was recorded by Sarah Bumgarner, and so this is called John Hardy, and I did a lot of reading on the history of this song, and it's pretty fascinating to me anyway. So John Hardy and John Henry are two sort of songs, folk songs that originate from the same person, based on the same person and the same events. But the guy's real name was John Hardy. So John Hardy worked in railroad construction camps in West Virginia, and he apparently shot someone over a dispute over a game of craps, which is a dice game, if you don't know, and was arrested and hung, and sort of 3,000 people apparently were there to see the hanging, so the news event must have gained some notoriety because these were small towns, so people came from miles around to watch this guy get lynched. And so he was African American. I can't find any evidence. This apparently was what we would call black on black crime today, or what certain people would call that. But so the fellow that he killed was African American as well. And so I can't find anything to substantiate my gut feeling that this was probably a black man who was probably executed for very little reason. But it could be that the murder aspect of it was true. I don't know. But one of the fascinating things about it is there became in African American folk song circles, John Henry was the focus, and John Henry, the character is this mighty steel-driving man who could outwork everyone and all the ladies loved, and blah blah blah. He's not the low-life criminal of the John Hardy, which is done on the white side of the folk music spectrum, which rather predictably. But he was almost this sort of legendary mythical folk hero for African Americans. This incredibly strong, hardworking guy who could outwork everyone. And none of that is ever mentioned in any of the bazillion versions there are of this song. So I couldn't make out all of the words that Sarah and Eva were using in this in their version. So again, I cut and pasted some verses that I liked from other versions. There's versions that get really racist. There's versions that are not racist at all. There's so many different ways this song is sung. But once the song was recorded by the Carter family, and they had somewhat of a hit with it, as big a hit as something like this could be, then their version kind of became the standard version, and that's what everyone recorded after that. But this has got a whole lot of verses that are way, way different than the Carter family version of it. So, John Hardy.
John Hardy was a brave and a desperate boy, and he carried his gun every day. He killed a man in a Shawnee camp, and I saw John Hardy getting away, poor boy. Saw John Hardy getting away. John Hardy was making for the station that night. It was so dark he could hardly see. A policeman took him by the arm, saying, "John, won't you come and go with me, poor boy? John, won't you come and go with me?" John Hardy's mother ran up to him, saying, "Son, what have you done?" "I murdered a man in a Shawnee camp, and now I'm sentenced to be hung, poor boy. Now I'm sentenced to be hung." John Hardy's father went to the judge, saying, "What do you think will be done?" The judge, he answered with a quick reply, "I'm afraid John Hardy will be hung, poor boy. I'm afraid John Hardy will be hung." I've been to the east and I've been to the west. I've traveled this wide world around. I've been to the river and I've been baptized, and today I'm on my burying ground, oh Lord. Today I'm on my burying ground. Oh sister, come stand by my side while my trial's going on. You shall never forget these words you heard when you heard John Hardy is gone, poor boy. Heard John Hardy is gone. They slipped the black cap over his head. The hangman was standing by. Hundreds of people had gathered around to watch John Hardy die, oh boy, to watch poor John Hardy die. John Hardy had a pretty little gal that he always dressed in the lace. And when he died on the hanging ground, she said, oh Johnny, I wish I could take your place, oh Lord. Johnny, I wish I could take your place.
John Hardy, there you have it. One of a gazillion versions of that you can find out there. Their recording of that, the Bumgarner Davies recording of it, doesn't have that guitar lick that is the Mabel Carter one that it doesn't have any of that in it. There's no guitar in it. It's just fiddle. So it's pretty interesting. Anyway, that is it for the country music history portion. Well, not really, because the rest of this is my chronological exploration of George Jones's singles. So we're jumping forward 25 years here to the mid-50s or so. This is, I'm going to do two early George songs today. I'm doing these in order. It's just based on the Wikipedia discography, so who knows how accurate that is, but it's a list for me to work on. And this is called Let Him Know, and written by George Jones. Both of these songs today are written by George. Most of his early stuff he wrote himself or with songwriting partners. And this is George giving some love advice. Lost his love and started drinking, trying hard to stop from thinking. He found out it was not the thing to do. There's no reason to be sobbing. It won't stop your heart from throbbing. Stop and think why he left you there so blue. If you see you were mistaken, there again you will be forsaken. Can't you see he wants to do the thing that's right? Let him know if you're still grieving. If you are, he'll soon be leaving. Let him know, then he'll be right there tonight. If you think he's gone forever, that's no reason why he'll never change his mind when your memory starts to burn. Why don't you try to be stronger? Give the one you love a little longer. Give him plenty of time to think it's now his turn. If you see you were mistaken, there again you'll be forsaken. Can't you see he wants to do the thing that's right? There's no reason to be sobbing. It won't start your heart from throbbing. Let him know, and he'll be right there tonight. Let him know, then he'll be right there tonight. Let him know. These original Star Day singles have lots of wonderful fiddle and pedal steel solos and plunky honky-tonky piano sounding stuff. So check out the early Starday stuff from George Jones, if I haven't gotten you around to doing that already. All right, one more song for you today. This is another of George's early 50s releases, and it is called You All Good Night. You all, not y'all. You all good night. And it's got a sort of jaunty little ascending kind of bass line chord kind of thing. That's kind of cool. And it, you know, I'll tell you after I sing this how this was like going through my mind as a with slight alterations to the lyrics. It could be sort of a Predator kind of song, because he's talking about meeting a girl in the park. So I'm sure he had nothing but fine intentions when writing this. He marries her, so all right. The other day I met a girl while strolling in the park, and pretty soon this little girl was flirting with my heart. I'm so glad that I was there to find this lovely queen. The clock was striking romance right at 2:15. I kissed her once and held her tight, and then I kissed her twice. She snuggled in my arms and said, "You kiss me oh so nice." As far was I lost in a dream, because she was my kind. It was then that I decided I would change her name to mine. At 4:15 I bought the ring, I bought the license too. We stood before the preacher and we both said I do. The preacher said, "My children, I pronounce you man and wife. May your troubles all be small ones for the balance of your life." We furnished a bungalow, the answer to our dreams, and we became the owners at exactly 9:15. And here my story ends, my friend. Put all the lights. Here my story ends, my friend. I bid you all good night. At 10:15 we locked the doors and turned out all the lights. And here my story ends, my friend. I bid you all good night. Honey, is it morning yet? It ain't? Well, good night. Tried to do George's little ad lib at the end there. Yeah, so you all good night. But so the second verse of this song, when I was initially rehearsing it, the second verse, I kissed her once and held her tight, and then I kissed her twice. She snuggled in my arms and said, "You kiss me oh so nice." For some reason, I kept saying struggled in my in my arms rather than snuggled in my arms, which gives a whole different meaning to the song. You know what? I feel like playing one more song before I head out today. I'm going to play one of mine, and this is a Waco Brothers tune that Joe mentioned was running through her head this morning, so I'm going to embed it in there. Try to find a reason why it's done. Try to find a reason
the blazing sun. Could have been Manhattan or Dubuque. Could have been destiny. Could have been a fluke. Seems like every time you turn around, there's one more stunt to pull. He is insane. He jumps through hoops and he dives out of planes. You'll last hear his name. Jamaican radio obituary. Try to find some words that work together. Maverick executive, imitation leather. On the third attempt, he went down in bad weather. Try to find a reason why it's done. Try to find a reason why it's done. Try to find a path straight up to the blazing sun. He is insane. He jumps through hoops and he dives out of planes. You'll last hear his name. Jamaican radio obituary. Jamaican radio obituary. Jamaican radio obituary.
I even remembered my own song. That's an accomplishment. Well, as always, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it so much, and appreciate all your donations and subscriptions to me and stuff. I'm actually making some money playing music without being able to be out and about doing it, so it really helps, and I love you all for it. And, I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. I'm going to sink into my couch and waste another afternoon and evening watching football. I hope you all do something equally as enjoyable. So, as always, stay home if you can. Stay safe. What else do I say to stay? Stay free. Stay puff. And I love you all, and I will see you right back here next Sunday with another installment of my history of country music, and maybe I'll throw another one of mine in there next week. Love you all. Bye-bye.